100 cases of people who wandered into the wilderness but never came back. Accounts of children, people
was a coyote,
vanishing,
dog, or
seemingly
else.
swallowed up by the many endless forests across America, or even later found in ways that defy touch.
An animal.
Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man.
She described the way that
like a man. I don't know what it was.
would not be unnatural.
You've had problems in the neighborhood
It looked
before?
like it was
Yeah, my dog was
uncomfortable
killed here
in
just
its own
recently.
feet.
I don't know what it was. So whatever it was that was standing out there. I'm out here looking through the window now and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside.
That what she was looking at
Jesus
was
Christ,
pure
you better...
evil.
Sure. Tia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9".
Do you see him
The
now,
cases of
sir?
about
Yes, I'm looking
100
right
people,
at him.
at least, who claim that they've been abducted
hang
by
on.
aliens.
He's
One
right.
of Dr.
Is
Matt's
he in your
patients,
yard,
Linda,
sir?
Yeah,
who
he's
says
gone.
she
He's
has been
big.
Faded out.
abducted
Like,
since childhood.
reality. I was just
what I remember
being brought up this tunnel of light, right? Out this tunnel light, just like noticed parts of my life that I wouldn't even occur to me to remember. Then I knew that I wasn't
I
in
never
my
told
body,
anybody
that I
about
was
that, and I just buried it in the back
And
of
so
my
then I
mind.
came to the end of this tunnel and noticed there was a man that first starts me at first as a wizard.
or a
And
fog
I
kind
saw
of moving.
relatives that had
The
died.
action, the
That
motion caught my
then
eye. It
the
actually
wizard,
started
without
taking
moving his
shape,
mouth,
taking
spoke to me and
form.
said,
The
"Struggle
idea of the
too
Grim
young to
Reaper
die."
went through my head, cloaked figure. And as I was watching, it kept becoming more and more and more distinct to me that this was actually something with some type of presence. Like it knew I was there. And as I was watching it, it turned and looked directly at me. I felt like whatever this was angry at me. I wasn't welcome. It wanted me out. I had been face to face with a ghost or a demon, a spirit. I'm not really sure what. But this feeling of terror actually was going through me. And I really felt more that it was demonic. It was something very
Hey everybody, and welcome to Real Supernatural Encounters. For my guest today, I have Jocelyn, and she is the sister of Jessica, who was in the last episode 57, where she talked about a seance that she did with her family. Today, her sister Jocelyn will be telling all her experiences and from her point of view. Before we get to that, Jocelyn, could you give a brief bio about yourself?
Well, hi, my name is Jocelyn. I'm 28 years old. I live in a small town in Montana called Butte. Everybody calls it Butt, so it's the laughing stock of Montana, really. I'm the twin sister of Jessica, and I've had some pretty freaky things happen to me in my years. Haven't had it happen in a little bit, but it's enough to make you get the heebie-jeebies, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, Jocelyn, I guess if you're ready, go ahead and start with your first story and just tell them in order and let me know when you have completed all your stories.
All right. So the first thing that we ever did was the seance that my sister talked about. It was me, my twin sister, and our stepbrother Cody. And we had felt something in this apartment, like hangers would move by themselves, and you could just, when we were alone, you could just feel like you were being watched. I don't know if that's a common thing or not, but yeah. So we were sitting there and we brought in the coffee table into our room, and we were using a shot glass to ask questions. And at first we weren't really getting anything. It was just kind of sitting there. And so we were kind of, my thought was, I hope one of these two don't try to just move it to make it seem like something's happening, right? But then we started asking more questions, and I don't remember the question. It's too long from when it happened, but maybe my sister had more to say. But we were just asking more questions, and all of a sudden it just started going in a circle, going in a circle, going in a circle. And I took my finger off of it, and it was still going, and both of them shot their fingers off of it, and it just shot off the table and smashed against the wall. And after that, we didn't really try to mess with it because I feel like we had upset it, and we moved shortly after that. We moved to Vegas, which is where more creepy things happen. I don't know if it followed us, which I kind of feel like it did, because I feel like the whole shot glass thing made it angry. So the first thing when we moved in, what happened to me, it was the day we moved in, and I was going up the stairs and I heard something say, "Watch out." And so my instinct was, put your back against the wall. So I did, because there was like split stairs, where you go up some, there's a landing, another landing, and then more stairs. So I was on one of the landings. So I put my back against the wall, and all of a sudden my dad comes barreling down the stairs with something heavy. And I was like, how did it know? Like, that was so creepy. Like, oh, so anyway, that happened the first night. And I remember sleeping and just hearing like scratching in the walls and a bell ringing when I was sleeping. It was the weirdest thing. And so we had been dealing with that for like, just that kind of happened. And then it was pretty quiet for a couple months. And then weird things started happening. We started taking pictures throughout the house. And in the kitchen, there was a black orb. And we tried recreating it, like having my stepbrother throw a towel up in the air, to kind of make it look like a ball of blackness, and it just didn't happen. And then we have been taking pictures in all the rooms, like everything. And in my room, right above my bed, there was a picture of a face coming through the wall, and you couldn't see the face without the picture. And I was like terrified to sleep in my own bed for a while. Like, I just couldn't do it. I literally put my pillow on the other side of my bed, so my head wasn't where the face was. Like, it was creepy. In that same house, we had a friend, Alyssa, come over, and we were doing some recordings with just like a tape recorder, nothing fancy. It wasn't like we're ghost hunters, right? And we were recording, and we were just asking questions, and my little stepbrother was playing, and we asked a question like, are you here? And it was this deep, guttural, just inhuman, I can't even explain the sound that came out of this recording. And we didn't hear it, while we were recording. We only heard it when we played it back. And it was right over like his, because he was a toddler at the time, right? So he's just like babbling, making noises. And it was over that, clear as day. It was the creepiest thing I've ever heard in my life. I have never heard it again. I've never heard an animal make that noise. It was the most inhuman thing I've ever heard, like a demon. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Anything else in that house? Burners would turn on by themselves in the kitchen. That was creepy. Oh, and another one. So all three of us were sitting at the computer, which, like, if you looked up, there was a balcony right there, like the hall, and there was a hallway between bedrooms. So we're sitting at the computer, and all of a sudden we hear something fall, like a TV or something heavy, and we could feel energy like coming down. Like, I couldn't see anything, like no apparition, but it just felt like energy. Like, you could feel it go down that hallway, come down the stairs. Like, we ran out of the house. Yeah. And people thought we were crazy because, like, a lady was walking by, and she just kind of looked at us weird, and we were like, something's in the house. And she's like, what do you mean? It's like, something's in that house. Like, it's not human. Like, something is in that house. And she just kind of looked at us like, you're crazy. So talking about this is nice because I feel like a lot of people don't understand. And then the last thing that happened in that house, I was in my bedroom sleeping, And I rolled over and looked at my dresser, and I saw somebody standing there wearing a dress, hair up in a bun. And I didn't say anything because at first I thought, well, like maybe it's my sister, you know, but then I was like, well, my sister really doesn't like wear stuff like that, so it can't be her. I didn't say anything. I just looked, and all of a sudden she just turned and like phased through my bedroom door because my bedroom door was closed. And I went downstairs and I asked, like, to make sure. I was like, was anybody just in the room? And everybody was like, no. Why? I was like, I just saw, but it wasn't. It didn't feel malice at all. Like, it was a nice spirit. So that was kind of nice. But then, you know, we kind of told my stepmom about everything that we had seen, and she saged the house. And things kind of stopped after that, which was kind of nice because some of the things were just like not feeling great. But then I moved to Montana and lived with my aunt and uncle for a while, and they had a man had died in that house. So they don't know if it's his spirit, but when I first lived there, before they had my room ready for me, I was actually on a cot in my cousin's room. And I remember one night, the first night I was there, I woke up sweating, and I had felt this dark humanoid shaped thing standing over me. And it didn't feel good at all. It felt very negative. It felt like if I hadn't woke up, maybe it would have done something to me. I don't know. I don't want to say it would have possessed me, but I want to say it just wasn't good. Like maybe it would have scratched me or done something to me if I wouldn't have woken up. And ceiling fans would turn on all the time there by themselves. It was just weird. Just weird little stuff like that. Like the radio would turn on by itself without anybody being in the room. And I mean, you have to press a button to turn it on, right? Like it's not a remote that could have just like, I don't know, had faulty batteries. Like you had to touch it. So yeah, just weird stuff like that. But yeah, those are my stories.
Okay. Now, did you mention anything about your aunt and uncle's house? Was that where the thud happened upstairs, or
That
what?
was the dark humanoid thing and the ceiling fans and radio turning on.
Okay. All right. Well, I have tons of questions for you.
Yay! Let's do it.
All right. Now, so when you and your sister and your brother, you guys were doing that seance in the room, who brought it up to who about let's go do the seance?
My sister was the one who definitely wanted to do it, and I was kind of into it because we're like I said, me and my sister are peas in a pod. We love a lot of the same like horror stuff and ghost stuff. So she brought it up, but I was like, yeah, let's do it because like I said, we had just felt something like hangers would move, nothing like really creepy, but just like you could feel something was there, and we wanted to try to communicate. And I don't know. Ouija boards kind of freak me out because I've just heard horrible stories about Ouija boards.
Yeah.
So I try to leave them alone. So I thought maybe a seance would be okay. And that didn't end very well.
Did you have anything ever happen to you paranormal, or maybe like even a near-death experience before you guys did that seance? Like anything crazy happened to you when you were younger?
I mean, nothing like super crazy. I mean, my mom tried to do some stuff, but that I think is separate from that.
Okay.
Like, I mean, when we were little, my mom tried to drown us, but I don't know, maybe that, you know, that connected me. Cause I mean, like, my grandmother used to watch us and like weird things would happen as a kid. Like, I don't ever remember anything like specific, but I just remember like, you know, that feeling that something's not right.
Yeah.
You know, and my grandma dabbled with black magic and stuff like that. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so I think she might have, you know, that happened, and then she just kind of opened a gateway, and we were just kind of around it when we were young, and maybe, I don't know. I believe that there are people who are just sensitive to that kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I
Did
think maybe because they were doing that stuff around us, we just became sensitive to paranormal things.
has your grandma ever told you about anything when you were a little kid that you did strange, or has she told you anything about, I guess the stuff she was doing magic wise, or
She used Ouija boards, and I've learned most of this from my dad because, like, I haven't really talked to my grandma because she had a lot of issues. But she used Ouija boards a lot and would talk to spirit, and she would, like my dad said, she'd be, talking to spirits, and she would lift off the ground.
wow.
And like they had a dog, and it would just like, she'd do a seance or whatever, and the dog would just sit and bark at like nothing. So I mean, I believe animals are sensitive to that stuff too, so I think it knew something. Like, she had opened portals for sure. I think she definitely did. I think she messed around with stuff she wasn't supposed to mess around with.
When your dad told you about her pretty much flying or being levitated, what was your first opinion? Did you think he was just joking around, or what was you thinking?
I took my dad very seriously because he doesn't talk about stuff like that.
Okay.
So for him to open up like that, I was like, oh man, like like I said, I've seen enough stuff that I would pretty much believe anybody if they told me. And like I said, my dad doesn't talk about that kind of stuff. So for him to open up and be like, that happened to me and I saw it, I would believe him.
Have you had any recent supernatural things happen to you, or any experiences recently?
Oh, you know what? What's kind of creepy? Like, so I work at a gas station and we have truck, right? Inventory that comes in, and my shift would be on the day that truck comes in 7 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like in the cooler and stuff. And there have been times when I've been in that cooler that I swear to God, I hear that door slam, because you can like hear that door. Like, it's very distinct. You can just hear it because it like has a creak to it. And I swear to God, I would hear that door and I'd look and no one would be in there with me. Because I mean, we have employees that are there all night long, right? It's open. It's
Yeah.
not just there. And oh man, like I would be like, I'm getting out of here, like walking real fast to get out of there, man, because it's just creepy. Like, you're just in there by yourself, like got my heart racing.
Have you seen anything fly off the shelves? Any kind of food fly off the shelves, or things get knocked
Not
over?
yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Oh,
Not
man.
yet. But I don't put it. I don't know.
When you guys did that seance, back to that again, when that shot glass flew off the table, did it
Mhm.
shatter, or did it just bounce off the wall?
It shattered.
Did it? I can only imagine how scared you guys was when all that occurred.
I was like, now we're gonna have to explain why the shot glass broke.
Yeah. When did you guys tell your dad, or did you guys tell your dad when that scenario happened?
The seance?
Yeah.
I don't think we ever told him.
Oh wow. Even not even up to this day.
No.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So, all right then. So you had your seance, and then was you guys afraid the next day or anything, or beforehand?
Definitely after that, I was pretty creeped out. I was pretty glad we were moving. Let's say that. I was like, I'm glad we only have a little bit of time left here, because I don't, like I said, I think that thing followed us.
Yeah.
I think it
Okay.
followed us. But
Well,
that's just my opinion. I don't know.
How
I can't say for sure.
how old was you when your mom tried, to attempt to kill you?
6 months old.
6 months old. They say that a lot of times people who have near-death experiences or have traumatic events in their life will sometimes enhance abilities or supernatural experiences. And a lot of times that people have had these kind of events, they will start seeing things, or all the way up until they're adult. adulthood as well. So, I mean, that could explain a lot of things for why your whole family has all this going on.
Mhm.
So it could be passed down from generation to generation.
I
So
just because I have a daughter and I've always wondered like, will she be like that? And I don't want her to be afraid because some entities are nice. They just want someone to talk to. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm kind of interested to see it because I want her to be able to come to me with that kind of stuff. Like don't be afraid. It's okay as long as they don't hurt you. Now, if they start hurting you, we're gonna have to like do something. But
You said you had a daughter. Does she tell you that she has seen anything or?
she's only a year old,
Oh,
so
okay. All right.
yeah.
Okay. Now, you said that you heard a voice that said, "Watch out."
Yeah.
Was it in a deep, light, or demonic voice?
It was in a light voice.
Okay.
Like it wasn't threatening or anything like that. It was just like a warning, like watch out. And I'm glad they did because my dad would have barreled over me. Like I would have fallen down those stairs and probably cracked my head. Like he was just like I had no idea. I didn't see him. He had come around the corner. So I don't like I said, I have no idea what made me like want to do that because I was just like, what? I should have just, like I have no idea what made me actually follow the command, but I did, and I'm glad that I did.
Wow. Did you hear it inside your mind, or did you like almost sound like it was physical, like out?
Inside my mind, like another, like I don't know, like I would have another personality or something, because like you hear yourself in your head, right, all
Yeah.
the time, but it felt like another voice in my head. It was weird, like, and I've never talked about it before, so it's kind of interesting that I'm saying it, but yeah, no, it felt like it was inside my head.
Have you heard anything like that ever again with like something in your mind telling you to do something?
No,
Okay.
that
Okay.
was the only time. So it made me kind of feel crazy, like maybe I had made it up, or you know what I mean.
Yeah. How old was you at that time?
I was probably 16,
16. Okay.
15, 16, somewhere around there.
Now, you said that at a time you were hearing scratching on the wall and a bell ringing.
Yeah.
What do you think that was?
I have no idea. Like, something that made like maybe like a child was playing or something. Like that's the only thing at the time that I could explain it. But I mean, these were new houses, so I don't understand like why I was being haunted and why these things were happening to me. Like, I don't know, like maybe it was built on a burial ground. It was in Nevada, so I mean it could
Yeah.
have been, like a Indian burial ground or something
That-
crazy, but I don't want to assume because I have no idea, but I thought it was a child playing. That was what I explained it away as, like when I was going through it.
yeah. Okay. Did you ever was ever able to tell where the noise was coming from?
No, it was always like you would try to follow it because it was like in the middle of the night, right? And I didn't want to be like all creeping around my house and have my dad be like, "What are you doing?" But you would try to follow it, and it just felt like it was like surround sound. It was just coming from everywhere. It was weird.
Did you ever tell anybody? Like, did anybody else hear it with you?
No.
No, man.
Mm-mm.
Oh man.
I don't know. Me and my sister shared enough creepy things that I didn't want to creep her out even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What time at night would that happen, or even daytime?
It would be like around 2, 3 a.m.
Oh wow, that would
That
be.
would happen.
I don't think I
So I
would
would
have
just
the courage to get up and go look for that. Man.
No, I was like, you know what? You can keep ringing your bell. I'm gonna just lay here and try to go back to sleep.
Did you ever try to look up like the history of the home you were living in?
No, not really. Like I said, it was a new home, so I didn't really think there was anything to like find. And I was really young and I didn't really know how to go about that, but I kind of wish I did now.
Okay. All right. Now, you said that you took a picture of the
Mhm.
ceiling above your bed of a face. Can you describe to me what that face looked like?
It was very like wrinkled scrunched up. Like, it was hard to tell that it was a face, but if we looked at it hard enough, like, it just looked distorted. Like, it wasn't like me and you face, but you could tell that it was a face, and it looked very not nice.
Okay.
It
So
looked very evil.
would you say it looked human still, or maybe like demonic, or
More demonic than anything.
okay?
Yeah.
Do you still have that picture?
I wish I did. It's on an old computer that we gave away forever ago, and I wish I would have saved it. Like, I wish I would have been smart enough to post it on social media, but I was like, like, why would you post that, right? Like,
Yeah.
freak other people out, give other people nightmares. Like, why are you living there still? Get out of there. You need Jesus.
But if you ever, take any more pictures or ever come across anything like that, feel more than free to, post it, share it to the group, for the Supernatural Encounters group, or send it to
Yeah.
me and I can add it to your video anytime you find
Yes,
anything.
that would be awesome. Now I'm gonna walk around the apartment with a camera and see if we find anything.
What did the voice say when you captured it on the voice recording?
It didn't say anything. It was just like a growl.
A growl?
Yeah, you couldn't really, like, I'm sure it said something, but you couldn't really decipher what it said. Like, and it wasn't one of those fancy ones where you could like go slow-mo and, like, you know what I mean? It was just like
Yeah.
a dollar store. But it worked. Like, I don't know, maybe they'd say it's defective, but I'm telling you, it was that it gave me the heebie-jeebies to hear that, because that's just like, okay, that's in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound very nice. So
What could you compare that growl to?
like a wounded animal,
Okay.
but I wouldn't even know what kind of animal, but a wounded animal. Like, it didn't like that it was being talked to. It didn't like that we were trying to figure out like what it was or what it was doing there. Like, it didn't want to be found out, kind of.
Why do you think a lot of times people do hear growling when there's haunted experiences and stuff? Like, why do you think, like, what is it? Is it a creature? Like, why does it growl?
I feel like it's a demon.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like it's a demon that is PO'd, that you found out it's there because it's trying to, I feel like demons have ill intentions, and, they do possess people and they do cause harm. And I feel that it's getting angry that it's there. That's what I feel, but that's just my opinion. I can't say that that's the truth, right? So
Sometimes I want somebody, if they ever hear a growl, to growl back. Just,
right.
yeah.
Yes,
Feel
next
like
time
could
maybe
do
I
that.
will assert my dominance. This is my house.
Yeah. Uh, when you had that, when you heard that thud upstairs and it freaked you out,
Yeah.
what did you think it was?
I thought it was a
first?
TV that fell down. I was
Okay.
like, maybe the cat somehow. I was just trying to explain it away, like maybe the cat knocks. And we went up there and nothing. Like, we went upstairs after we like calmed down after running outside. Nothing was out of place. But it felt like something heavy, like the dresser had fallen down or the TV. And I was just like, well, maybe the cat knocked something down. But there's no way that the cat can knock something that heavy down. It's just a freaking cat.
Did the attic look different? Like, was there anything strange up there or missing, or door messed up?
No, it was weird. It was the weirdest thing.
When you ran outside and you was telling this woman that, like, did she believe you at all? You think?
No,
No.
she thought we were crazy. She was like, like I said, she was like, you guys are crazy. She literally called us crazy. Like, why would there be something in your house that's not human? Well, there's something in this house. I can tell you that because I just felt it.
Mhm.
Like I said, it wasn't an apparition that came down those stairs, but you could feel something. Like,
Yeah.
obviously enough to make us run outside, because you're not just going to run outside for no reason.
Yeah. Man. Now, I heard that your sister said that you guys went to the neighbors and they grabbed a gun and everything. So what'd you think of that scenario of the neighbor coming over with a gun?
That was a little crazy, but I can understand why, because they didn't believe us either.
Yeah.
They thought
And
somebody was in the house.
so when they didn't find nothing, what did they say to you?
They just thought we had wild imaginations because we were at home during the summer by ourselves for the first time in a new house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old
I
was
was
you?
like, dude, I'm like 16 years old. Do you really
Okay.
think I have a wild imagination? Like, I'm not 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you're trying to tell the truth. You mean they can't say you got active imagination because that's more for like 7, 8-year-olds. But even when they see
Exactly.
stuff, you know what I mean? They tell people. I think a lot of adults need to have more of an open mind, because when you're closing people off, you're really, I don't know, you're making a big mistake on that, because anything can happen. You know,
Anything can happen. I believe that completely. You never know, man. Like, I've heard some stories from people about seeing some crazy things, and I am glad I didn't see what they saw, because I probably would have literally like wet myself.
what's one of the craziest stories you've heard from somebody?
So my ex was like sleeping in his room and he could see into the kitchen, and he literally saw this little girl like sitting underneath the kitchen table just staring at him.
Oh wow.
Like, woo! Like, he literally slept with the Bible, he told
Yeah.
me, for a while after that.
Did he see that apparition again, or was
He
it
saw
just?
it a couple times, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I should
What?
have him come on here and tell you some stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely get in contact with him, or have my sister do it because she still talks to him. I
Yeah,
know.
please. That'd be great. Yeah, if you know anybody and they would like to come on and tell their stories, tell them everything is pre-recorded. So it's a private Zoom call, and we'll schedule time for them to come on and they can tell their story and I could put it on the show.
That's
So,
awesome.
um, you said that there was this girl that was, I guess, you've seen her and she phased into a wall.
Yeah.
What was she doing before she did that?
She was looking at my dresser,
Hmm.
like, because it was like one of those dressers that had like a flat top and like kind of raised sides, so you could like put stuff on the top, and I had just a bunch of like random crap on there. But she was like looking at the dresser, and then she just all of a sudden turned and walked out. I don't know if she felt me looking at her, because I was just like staring, like, so I thought maybe my sister was like grabbing something off there, like I said.
Yeah.
But then I was like, she doesn't wear dresses, so that doesn't make sense. And she doesn't really wear her hair in a bun.
Like what century or age does she look like she was dressed for?
Probably like the 1800s.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, those big frilly, not frilly, but the big bottom dresses, they wore those things to make it like all big, and yeah, and just like it definitely didn't feel like she belonged in our time, that's for sure.
Did she have anything about her that made her look, scary or anything?
No, I couldn't even see her face. I couldn't
Oh,
even
okay.
see her face.
Why do you
Just
think?
like the profile for a split second, but she didn't look like angry or mad or anything. She just kind of looked lost.
Okay. Or
Like
that
she
she was
didn't
like,
know.
"What the heck is this thing?" Looking at your
Right?
dresser.
What is this invention? This
What?
is nice.
Why do you think she was looking at that dresser?
I feel like maybe at one time something was there for her.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
don't know what, but I feel like something was there for her. Like, I don't know, the way she was looking made me look like she was looking for a child, because like down in a bassinet or something, because like I heard that bell ringing and like it made me feel like a child was in there. So maybe it was her child. I don't know.
Oh
Because it was
wow,
all in the same house.
that is amazing. You spoke about a figure that stood over you when you were sleeping
Yeah.
right before you
Yeah.
woke up.
Hmm.
Um, did you have any nightmares prior to waking up to that?
Yeah, I remember that I don't remember what the nightmare was, but I remember that I was having a nightmare before I woke up. Because whenever I have a nightmare, I wake up sweating. and I had woke up sweating, and then I felt like that thing was standing over me. Like that's what I saw like with my eyes closed right before I woke up.
During any all these haunting experiences that you had, what was one of the most I guess night terror that you've ever had?
I always have nightmares that something's chasing me.
Really?
Mhm.
How does that dream go?
Like I wake up and I'm always in like the woods, and I'm just running and running, and my heart's pounding, and I just feel something's behind me, and I can never see it, but I feel like something is right behind me and it's gonna get me. And I just keep running and running and running, and then I wake up usually because I like run into a cliff and I've got to jump off the cliff. You know what I mean? And then you wake up and you're like, oh my god, I just jumped.
You said that Jessica is your twin sister.
Yeah.
So were you guys born at the same time?
She is 8 minutes older than me.
8 minutes older? Okay.
And we're born on the 8th, which is just weird.
Well, and they say that twins, they have this bond where they share emotions and just kind of everything, right?
Right.
It's so crazy that you have that dream because your sister has the same kind of nightmares.
Does she really?
Yeah, she told it. Yeah, she told it on the last episode. And I knew another person who's had the same exact nightmare too. So
Really?
yeah, and I want to know what that is. What it is that's chasing. I mean, your
Yeah,
sister,
because you
everybody.
never see it. You never see it. Because they don't see it either, do they?
No. Besides this one guy that I talked to, he I don't think he sees it, but he says sometimes it looks like some type of wolf or dog and chasing him. But yeah, no, a lot of times I think maybe it's like the object of fear, and it's just
Right.
it's an entity in itself or something,
Yeah, it's creepy. That's kind of weird that you've talked to other people and they have the same thing. Because like a lot of therapists have tried to blame it on PTSD, and I've always felt that it's something more because the medications don't make it go away.
Yeah,
So
it's something a lot more, and I think there should be a new kind of therapy where it's actually maybe spiritual therapy where people actually talk about the things that others want to close off and be like, no, they don't exist, or it means something totally different. Why can't it mean what it is? Something evil or something that's malicious is actually coming and into your dreams, or trying to attack you and take your energy. I mean, it could be anything.
right. And if people can believe in aliens, like
Mhm.
why can't they believe in ghosts? I don't know. Maybe we're too afraid to believe that something like us is out there. I don't know. But aliens are kind of like us too, so.
Yeah,
But ghosts are closer to home, I guess.
I agree. Well, Jocelyn, you have answered all my questions, so I appreciate that very much. Before we end this episode, would you like to give any closing comments or advice for anybody having their own experiences?
Well, I just want to thank you for being so awesome.
Thank you.
And I would just say trust your gut. If you think that something is happening to you, it probably is. And if you think that you need to do something about it, you probably should. Don't just put it off, or don't try to talk to people and have them tell you you're crazy, because you're probably not. So trust your gut. Trust
I
it.
agree. I agree. Well, Jocelyn, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. It's been another episode of Real Supernatural Encounters, and I will see you guys later. See you later, Jocelyn.
Yeah.